Hello, hello, hello. Good evening. Welcome. Welcome. My name is Obendapo. Welcome. I want to share with you um, what I call retail ethics. Retail ethics and the sales team and the customers. Sales team and the customers. There was a time a man was telling me a story about he owned a lot of shops and he was trying to grow his business, was trying to expand. So he put some people in charge of the business so that he could focus on the other activities of the business. So he would travel to some other countries and he left the whole place for this gentleman that he trusted was a good worker that he had. So there was a time that he came to work and he had, that time there was no mobile phone. So he had the telephone in his shop and then the other one at the back office. So the gentleman who was taking care of the shop didn't know that the man had come. Uh, he had traveled overnight and come to work. So a call came in, and the gentleman um, was the one who picked the call, and then the man was behind it, so he also picked the other call without the shop manager's awareness, or without him knowing that somebody else was on the phone. And the guy had received a call from the mother, and the mother was telling him that this work that you have, it is God who has brought you. The house that you have started, make sure that you finish. And so the other man on the phone, the owner of the business, he was trying to open and grow. He was exhausting himself, going everywhere, borrowing money to build business and to employ people. And the guy was actually building from the business that the man was not even making profit. The man was crediting, borrowing money from people from the bank, trying to expand the business. And the gentleman was selling the money, selling the product, and keeping the money. And the mother was on the phone telling him that make sure you finish the house that you have started. It is God who has helped you to get this job. Things like that. Retail and ethics. In most countries, when you go, it is the citizens of the country who own a lot of these major outlets. In our part, in our country, it is not us who own most of these outlets. Maybe there was a time that our people were doing well in terms of those, but the culture that I have come to meet in terms of the retail business, um, we are still running the small models, and we are not the one competing with the Melcoms, and we are not the ones competing with the ShopRite and the games, because the belief that a lot of our business people have had from this kind of business is that a lot of them have been beaten, a lot of them have been disappointed, a lot of them have had troubles. If you talk to people who have boutiques, who have shops, who have outlets, their number one problem is the kind of people that they happen to work with. The honesty, the attitude to work, the ethics. Maybe there was a time that we had them, but from what I hear, it is very difficult for most people, most business people in retail, because you cannot grow the business without having the right kind of people to work with. And the way it is, if you leave it for them to, they will sell and pocket the money, or they will take the product and go and sell. And so the man was very much unhappy, and he wept actually, because he was traveling everywhere trying to open this business up, trying to open a lot of outlets. And the people that he had put in the shop thought that he was foolish, and they were selling and building house with it. They were selling and pocketing the money. They were discounting the product. Now somebody will say that where were the systems and the structures and the auditing and all those? I don't think that most people, when they start and they want to expand, the support is really there for them to do proper auditing and counting and things like that. It's difficult. And so part of it will be maybe cross-check, and the other part will be really to get people who are coming from a culture that has a bit of the ethics. Now, from what I understand, that is not readily available. And I think that that is one of the reasons why the business people are a bit more struggle in terms of the retail and the ethics that we practice. So we cannot deny it. All countries in the world have problems. But I dare say that we have a problem, and we have to understand, admit it, that if you commit a lot to people without the right training and the right equipment, we are the problem that we have, which is being honest with that which is not ours, especially when it comes to money. When it comes to something that looks like money, most of our people will fail. Now, they will tell you that they go to church. I used to believe that. Now, I don't believe that. They have to prove that they are honest. They have to prove that they are ethical. They have to prove that they are trustworthy. So if you happen to be in the retail business, or you happen to have outlets, and it's such that you have to commit a lot to people to manage, you will hurt yourself if you just believe that people will be honest with you. I don't think that that is readily available. I think that is something that you would have to structure and work on before you can get a lot of your sales team, a lot of the people who work with you to start to appreciate the need for them to be ethical, the need for them to be honest with the company that they work with. If you pick 100 people, I dare say that maybe 90 of them will fail if you test them. The first few months that they work with you, if you test them with money, you just test them, maybe just test them, like maybe let somebody go and buy something, or test them to see if they will declare all, and test them with product if you think they will be honest with you. My experience is that it takes a lot of work for you to build a sales team that will be honest, that will work as if the company, as if the business is theirs. So my point will be, don't be deceived and don't be naive just to think that people are automatically going to be honest with you. No, a lot of them are coming with very little honesty. Very little. Very little. If they have to, because when people come from the background of lack, sometimes they are tempted to compromise easily, because most of them, all their lives, they have never been exposed to this kind of money that they're working with, So now they seem to have access to this. You have made this man a manager, and you train him a little. Because the thing about it is that you can train people easily in terms of the technicalities the techniques that you use in your business. But it takes a while for you to train people, to be honest, if they will ever be trained at all. People should come from the background that they have values themselves. Then your business can help them to build on it. If they are coming without any value, any ethics at all, any spirit of honesty, and they come, the sad thing about it is that they come and they say that they go to church, they read the Bible, they pray. But if you check things well, you see that a lot when it comes to the money, they compromise. So the retail ethics, the sales team, and the customers. Now, you as a business, you would have to develop a culture where you will, as much as is possible, you are honest with your customers. So you build a culture in the team. You build a culture that your people will understand that this business, we are trying our best, the best as we can, to present what we have to our customer. So if the item is not good, we don't trick our customers to say that it's good. We try to charge fairly as it represents it. We build a practice in the business, in the shops, in what we do, to let people know that if you come to get this, it's a fair thing that we are selling, and we are not looping anything up, we are not lying, we are not trying to trick our customers. We have the understanding that our customers are not foolish. That is a culture that you have to build in the retail. Then your people, the team that you're training, they will start to see that this company, this business, at least tries to be honest, or a bit honest, with the customers. So once you can demand that, once you can establish that in the team and to the service to the customer, or with the service to the customer, then you can go a bit more to demand that your team, the sales girl that you have employed, that which finished JHS, who finished SHS, or maybe who finished the university, the people who come to work with you, then they can see that this business, we want to be honest, we want to treat people as we would want them to treat us. Then they will start to get the sense that at least here is a bit different. Work with the best of character. As a business owner, as somebody who works in the retail sector, if you happen to work with somebody, work with the best of your character. Don't become so much selfish that every little opportunity that you get, you want it to benefit yourself. I think that human beings can train themselves, to be honest. You can write somewhere against your bed that I'm going to be an honest person. I'm going to say it as it is. I'm not going to steal somebody's money. I'm not going to lie to somebody to benefit. At least 3 laws that you can build for yourself, because that which you stand for is that which you treat people with. So in the retail, a lot of people complain, talk, weep. Many people have lost businesses because they went into it, they opened the shop, they had this girl to sit and to work there, and they were somewhere working somewhere, and by the time you see it 6 months down the line, the whole thing is gone, and they are in bad financial situation. And much of it would have to do with the ethics of the girls, and sometimes the ethics of the manager herself or the manager himself. And so establish that in this company, in this business, in this shop, we work with the best of our character. We have decided to be honest with ourselves and to be honest to our customers. That is the kind of company culture that you want to demand. The man who told me the story that the manager was building out of his business, I'm not sure that he had a proper training manual for his workers, at least to train them on ethics, to train them to be honest. Once in a while, you tell them, because don't steal from me. But that is not training. You have to constantly train the team and demand that they stay clear and they stay honest. It's a way. I don't think you can eradicate that 100%. But if you get even 30%, 50%, 20%, or maybe 90%, you will be way ahead of your competition. there should be proper training in terms of ethics for yourself and for the team. And then the team can extend that to the customer. You don't have to overlook it to say that but human beings, they say that they go to church, they read the Bible, I see them pray every morning. It doesn't matter. They can pray and go and sell and pocket half of the money. They can fast and go and sell and pocket half of the money. If you don't have the right systems and the right auditing and the right monitoring and the right culture to demand that they are at least honest with the business. And so don't be deceived by their religiosity. That is nothing at all. Demand, they have to qualify. And anytime that you have somebody who compromises on that, you have to punish. And sometimes you have to sack them, so that those who stay would at least have a little sense to work with the company and be honest. The time that they come to work, if you don't demand it and you don't have anything to cross-check, people open boutiques in town and they are working somewhere. They say that the girl should open the shop by 8. 9:30, he's chewing gum and rolling the keys, and they're working as if they are not going to work. And when you say that they should close 6 o'clock, 5:30, they start packing and they want to go home. You have to train them the time they have to come to work, the time that they have to close. Tell them they have to be honest with the business, and it has to be every day, because you have built a people, the new generation, that have little appreciation for honesty and credibility and ethics. I don't know, maybe there was a time that we had that, I don't know. But what I know is that it is tough for you to get good people to work with. Very tough. And so when they come and they seem to have traces of somebody with good heart, you have to have a training which is robust enough to keep those who are honest to work with you. And that's why people continue to say that it's difficult, it's difficult, it's difficult. Yes, it's difficult because even those who have gone, higher in terms of education, and those who may even have, better standard of living than the ones who are, just finished HSH or SHS or senior secondary, and who is coming from a background where, mother doesn't have, father doesn't have, and they happen to work with you. They are coming from the background of lack, so they have to really stretch themselves to be honest with you, because the whole family may be dependent on them. They may be taking care of the family, and the salary may not be enough. So for them to come to a stage that they will say that I'm not going to take anything from this business, I am thankful that I have a place to work, and so long as I'm here, I'm going to work to make sure that the business succeeds. That kind of capacity of thinking may not readily be available. You would have to demand that, you would have to teach that, you have to establish that, you have to demand that, you have to work on that constantly if you want to be successful with your business, especially those in retail. Tell them you don't take money from this place, and constantly say it. And you don't take the products. Demand that. Treat them like human beings. Treat them as human beings. Talk to them nicely. Don't shout and be cursing and be threatening, but demand that they live to the standards of the business. So you tell them, this one that you have come to work. These are the rules here. You come to work on time, and we will close on time. We will also pay you what we have to pay you. And I demand that you are honest with the business. You're credible. If you cannot do these things, we are not forcing you. Don't stay here. But if you make the decision to stay with this business, to stay with this company, then these are the things that we demand from you. If you continue to train them like that, if you continue to demand these things like that, a time will come that your business will have maybe 40% success rate, maybe 50% success rate. Because retail businesses, the losses from theft, the percentages are with the team more than the customer who comes to buy. The stealing is from within than without. So it's not so much the carefulness with the people who are coming to steal, but the syndication within your team. can collapse the business. And usually when you're employing people, if you're growing business, when you're employing people, you don't know them because you're growing. Not every one of them will come by, somebody you know. Some of them will just come by because they saw the advert and you interviewed them. They have to qualify for, you have to put them in stages and in categories. And those that you don't know so much, you have to have people monitoring them until they qualify. Until they qualify, because you have to establish the ethics, or you will go out of business and you'll be in debt and you'll be in difficult situation. So you tell them you don't steal from here, and you cannot steal from something that you're helping to build. These are philosophies that you teach them. Now, the people compromise on their values, compromise on their ethics, compromise on their character, because that is what somebody told them. That is what the society told them, that if you have this opportunity to work here, you can take some of the money, take some of the product. Or some of them will even say that, I'm not going to do that, but I'm also going to open some place and be selling the same thing, but I will come to work every day. People have all kind of ways and means because people compromise the ethics so much. We are not demanding angels, we are not demanding angelic attitude, but we are demanding that people get the basics right, the basics. If you decide to work with a company, just decide to work there and be honest. If you happen not to be happy there, don't stay there and steal from the company. Go, so that somebody who is happy, somebody who is ready to work will be there. But here's the case that people have their own plan, trying to work with such companies and not being honest. So you, the owner, must demand that you are honest. Must demand that the people who work with you are honest and they practice the best. And if you see anybody compromising, you correct them. You work on it. You don't put it down and hope that they will change. Most often they don't change. Your disappointments and those things that you will regret in terms of the girls, in terms of the boys that you work with in your retail business, will be those that you saw who were not credible, who were not honest, who were stealing, and you let them stay without doing anything about it. Those will be your most, those will be the moments that you will regret later. And so we have to just be fully aware that when people come to work with you in the retail, in that which you do, people who work in sales businesses, they come if they have access to money and the checks and balances are not that strong. You have to know that the tendency of them stealing the product, stealing the money is very high. They have to be taught. Don't believe that they come, they speak, they want to say that they go to church and they are Christians. Don't believe that. Let them prove themselves. Because even the people who, people are cutting all kind of deals all over. So how much more these young girls, young boys who are coming from the same kind of culture? Because the problem is the value system of the culture, the value system of the society. And so some places they have trained them that if you see money here, don't take. They know it. They have trained them that if you find somebody something, go and give it to them. It's not yours. Some other places, nobody has trained somebody. Nobody has trained anybody. And so when they see that which is not theirs, most of them would want to take. And so if you happen to give them authority and power and you don't cross-check well, they will destroy your business and they will work, eventually it will be a problem. So help them to understand that, especially those who are religious. If you are that religious and you believe in God, then why would you want to steal that which is not yours? In your Bible, they say that if you don't take care of another man's, how would you get yours? So these are philosophies that you want to help them to teach, because some of them think that they will get ahead by being dishonest, by stealing from the company that they work with. Some of them think that they will get ahead by just being here and doing some things outside, because that's what they get to see, that's what they practice, that's what they see people do. So they think that those are the standards. You have to help them to understand that those are not the standards. And if you want to see companies that are growing and growing well, it's because they've been able to build this kind of culture in a business, that they happen to get more people who have the business at heart. And anytime you get to catch somebody who is doing that, don't take it lightly. Deal with it. Deal with it. Talk to them. Train them. Some of them you have to let them go. Some of them you have to punish them. So that it to be part of the culture of the business. You don't have to be cruel. You don't have to talk to people anyhow. You don't have to be harsh, but you just have to demand that they work with the best of ethics. Because retail business is very difficult. It demands a lot of responsibilities. People have opened shops and lost everything. People have done businesses and lost everything because the people that they gave the business to. Maybe you opened the business, you gave it to your son, or maybe you gave it to your brother or your uncle or your friend, and there was no training. There was nothing at all. You just thought, oh, I've opened a shop, so you take care of it. Every now and then I'll come and check. And so they sell, they start. The moment when somebody is hungry and he's not doing anything, and you call that person to say that I've opened this business, come and take care of it. That is no business. Before you give anything to anybody to manage, where they are going to be responsible for money, especially when money is coming to them, where it is that much difficult for you to check everything to the last point. You cannot say that it's my friend, so come and take care of it, or it's my sister's son, come and take care of it. No. You have to put it there, establish it, train them, have them train on the ethics, on the credibility, on the honesty. Because if they are very good with selling and they sell and they will not declare the money, it's as if they are not good with the selling. Because what you want is somebody who will work and not destroy the business. So don't go and borrow money to go and open a shop somewhere and say you are selling cement, or you are selling orange, or you are selling pineapple, or you are selling yogurt, and you just put anybody there and you say that you are also working somewhere and they should sell and bring you the money. In 6 months' time, if you don't have good structures, if you don't have good planning, if you don't have a good training for them in terms of the ethics, you'll be in bad situation. You'll be in bad situation because almost all of them will not be honest with you. Test 100, and if you get 10 that is honest, you are a genius. That is when they are coming without training. But the moment you start to train and demand that they are honest with you, and demand that they put the business at heart, and demand you paint the picture, you create the tomorrow that you want to do with this business, and you create the prospects. And when they also work well, pay them well. It's better people get paid rightly based on the agreed amount than for you to squeeze them because you assume that they will stay. A lot of, if you go to most of these marketplaces, they pay them peanut because the assumption is that whatever you do, they will steal. I don't know the logic in that. I will rather want to pay you well and then let you steal so that I can train the ones that I can train, because there's no point trying to do everything yourself if you're in retail. You would want to develop strong team who will be present as if you are present. People you demand that they work with their heart, they work with their mind, they work with the best of the company's interest at heart. So the best of the company. So you say that you are working with this company, then just be honest and be credible. Work with the best of heart, and you too pay them. At least be reasonable. Pay them that which will make them not to steal. How can you pay somebody 100 Ghana cedis every month and they take car? How can you demand that they are honest with you? That will be difficult. They have to eat, they have to pay the TNT, and they have to keep something on themselves. So you also have to do some bit of calculation and position the team in a stage that it will be a bit less tempting for them to not be honest with the business, and for them to be unethical with the business. So there are things that contribute to that, but part of it is that you demand that they are honest with you. So tell yourself and tell your team that we are here to work for the best of the company, and that's why we are here, to make sure that the company grows. And so if the company is not growing, we have to make sure that we grow. We are in sales, so we have to sell. We are in sales, so we have to do it. So if you come to work and you come to sleep because nobody is there, don't come. Let's close it. Let's get somebody who will come and work. So as usual, a lot of the things that we do are at the primary stage. So we don't apply a lot of the techniques and the training. We just, a lot of us just hope that things will just get better because we just believe that things will get better. I don't think that things are going to get better with your business if you don't get better yourself with your systems and structures and training and the kind of people that you pick to work with you, their honesty, their techniques, the understanding, the sales that they know. You can't just hope and pray and wait for anointing oil to go and put it all the corners of the shop because you're declaring that God's power will come and bring the sales. That's not how you build. If you go to ShopRite, they are not putting anointing water anywhere. They're just building structures and systems, and that's why they're building their business. And so if you are in the retail, there are techniques, there are systems, there are structures, there are things that people have done and done well. And part of it, especially for small scale business, if they steal one city, it's going to get to you. If they steal two cities, it's going to get to you. And so build a culture where the people who eventually stay to work with you will be people who are credible, who are honest. Don't just be in haste trying to open some of these shops and say that I work here with EcoBank, so I've opened a Weave On shop, and I put some girl somewhere. Anytime you go there, that girl will be on WhatsApp. It's chatting. It's the attention is not there. You go to any of the outlets in town, go there, enter. Most of the girls are chewing gum or sleeping. They are not paying attention. And anywhere that you go that the girls are not paying attention, it means that whatever they are selling, they are not declaring them. So the owners are just there. They are not building business. You just have a shop that every now and then they come to get some little money. But if you want to grow those into business, you have to pay attention, proper one, and be aggressive in terms of your training and in terms of the culture that you allow, in terms of the ethics that you allow in the business. Because retail is a serious business. It demands a lot of attention, demands the best of people to work with, and it demands a lot of training. So if they compromise so much on their honesty, they compromise so much on their ethics, then it will be difficult for you to grow as a business, because every time you move 3 steps, you come back 4 steps because you don't know. And when they are leaving, they will not even tell you. They just leave the time they want to leave. And so work on it, because they have to also demand the same. They have to also extend the same kind of ethics to the customer. If the customer feels that anytime they come to buy from you, you are not the company that you say you are cheating and lying, you put A there and you sell C, then your workers will continue from there. They will pick, they will lie, they will cheat, and they will tell everybody that which is not true. So don't go and borrow money and just go and open a shop and put somebody there without training them. You have given them bank. They will sell by the time you see it. Even the organized ones, the kind of information that you will get from them, you'll be shocked. Even those with systems, structures, and those who have done these things well. Because human beings are complex. If they decide to steal and cheat, it's dangerous. So I think that in spite of the systems and structures, in addition to them, the best guarantee is the culture that you build in your business, and the demand of honesty, demand of credibility, demand of ethics that you place in the business, that anybody who comes to work with you understands that here, if you are not honest, you cannot stay. If you do the right thing, this is the best place to work. So you create the atmosphere, you create a business where they will know that it's a good place to work, and they feel, you create the culture where because most of them will spend all, maybe 8 hours a day working with you. The business should be friendly, the business should be welcoming, they should feel part of the business, and they should be happy coming to work. You have to work on that constantly. You have to work on that, on yourself, on the team, on everybody, so that when people feel welcome and happy, they start to think properly in terms of being honest with you. I think people will steal less in a business that thinks of the workers, and that people feel welcome and happy. When they get up in the morning, they look up to it to go into work. If you're able to build a business culture like that, I think that promoting the ethics will be far easier than when you have built a business culture that is hostile and disrespectful and demeaning, and maybe it's like slavery to your workers. So if you happen to be in retail, the sales demand that the ethics are established, and so you demand that from your sales team. People have horrible stories with respect to the sales team, whether they are men or women, horrible stories. But I think that you still need people to work in terms of the sales. The physical outlet sales, you will need people to work, and so demand that people become a bit honest, and demand that you don't put up with those who are not honest. You establish the culture like that, then you can grow. Then you can grow. You get a manager, the manager should work in the best interest of the company. You get a sales assistant, the sales assistant should work in the best interest of the company. If they are going to stay with this company, they must be present, they must be supportive, they must be very much happy to work with the company. If they are not happy and they don't want to be there, don't keep them there. Let them go, so that those who are happy to work with the company will stay there. So people are opening shops, people are opening boutiques, people are opening all these outlets, and they forget that these people that they work with, and they have to be trained. And the more you demand ethics and honesty, the better the customer service. The better the customer service, because then they know that you stand for quality and you stand for the best. So my name is Obinga. I am talking about retail sales or retail ethics. That is the sales team and the customers. Don't build a business trying to trick and cheat your customers. Don't build a business that you're saying that you're selling A, but when they come, you charge A for A, but you give them C. It doesn't worth it. That's not how you grow your business. The best of it is growing your business with the best of character and the best of honesty. And then you demand that from your workers. You demand that if they want to work with your company, if they want to work with this business, we demand that they work with the best of character, they are honest, and they work with their heart for the company to grow. Anytime they don't want to do that, they don't have to stay with the company. They have to go, so that somebody who wants to be there will be there. Whenever I go to any place and anybody works with us, I want to ask you, do you want to be here? Are you happy? If you don't want to be here, you can find another place that you'll be happy. You don't have to waste your time in this company. So if you choose to be here, then be here. And we want you to be here with the best of ethics, the best of heart, be more credible, working with the interests of the business, because that's what we are doing in our best interest. So the time that they come to work, you don't have to be present for them to be honest. You don't have to be present for them to say that we came to work this. They don't have to lie. So anytime that you see people trying to lie to you, you train them, and sometimes you punish and you cut it so that they will sit up. Demand that, because it's a problem in this culture where people can say it's A, they know it's A, but when you question them aggressively, they will tell you that they don't know anything about it. And that's why most people who are trying to open outlets in terms of retail shops are constantly under stress. If you go to Okaishi and those areas, most of the people there, when they are even traveling, they have to close the shop, because it's so difficult for them to build a company culture where people can be honest and work without stealing the product or without stealing the money. Sometimes along the whole logistics chain, the whole supply chain, everybody is trying to cheat the company. It's difficult, it's tough, but it's doable. It's doable. So, the potholes are many, but it can be done. So one of it will be making sure that you establish a culture that demands that your people are ethical. You tell them that you don't have to steal money from here, and you tell them that you don't have to steal the product from here. There should be a manual that you train the new workers with, and there should be a program that you train your old workers every now and then, so that you have a balanced culture in a business. It's not something that you just wish and hope that it will happen. It doesn't happen. You have to be a plan to establish that. So you cannot steal from a company that you are helping to build. Let them understand that. And don't deny that it's a problem. It's a problem, and then it's a major one in our culture, where if you leave money for people, and if you leave possessions in the hands of people, if you don't take care by the time you come, very few people will be able to tell you that this is what you left and this is what how much. So you demand that. Build that. Demand that. Is very much important that you work on that yourself, or you will never grow. Or if you attempt to grow, the pressure will kill you. You give up, because people are very much mistrustful. That is part of the culture that we come from. People don't trust anybody, And I wonder, if you don't trust any human being at all, then where are you going to go? You just have to find a way of working with the best. And one of the ways of working with the best is establishing a best culture that can let the best stay. The best culture in the business that will make the best stay. So if you catch anybody stealing, deal with them. Deal with them, punish them, let them go home. And don't be deceived with religiosity. They don't count. Let people prove their character. They can open Bible praying in front, it doesn't matter. Let them prove that they are honest. And try them, test them, and tell yourself that you yourself, you want to work with the best of character with your team. And hopefully you get there, because a business that we must also look at is an industry that brings the product to the doorsteps of the customers, of the consumers. So we cannot let that area just be captured by foreign interests. We should also look at doing and expanding these areas as well. And the demand systems, they demand structures, but until you get all your systems right, until you get all your structures right, you would have to work with the humans. And I think that if you can get half of your team to be honest and credible, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. You can't get 100% for that, forget. So you make an allowance for the stealing. You make some percentage of allowance for the stealing, but you can do it, and you can do it well. And so thank you very much for watching. And so demand that your team is ethical, is honest, and your team work with the best of interests of the business at heart. And so long as they are there 100%. And if you treat them well, they will also treat the business well. If you treat them well, they will treat you well. Continue to do that. Continue to get the best of them, and you will be somebody who will be able to build as many businesses as you want, because you you find the key to getting the best of people and working with the best of people and establishing the best performing culture in terms of the retail, in terms of the sales team, and in terms of the services that you render to your customers. So this is part of entrepreneurship, and if you want to be an entrepreneur, this is part that you can easily start selling. They don't have to be a product, you just have to have something to sell. And sometimes you will sell through people, and so you have to know how to train them to be ethical, how to train them to be honest, and how to train them to respect your customer and treat your customer with some sense of respect. So thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for watching.